But now my kid, who's 9 years old, he's now I'm starting to let him watch some of the episodes, and I picked
some of the episodes,
not all, and most of it goes over his head. But that particular episode, I swear, is the only episode we've ever done that I get really emotional at the end of it. And it's not because of anything we do in the episode, it's because of those YouTube videos and that Rocky song. And we actually had Merle Reese, who's the voice of the Eagles, commentate throughout the episode, which
well
was really
done.
cool.
Very well done. I saw a quote from you talking about Sonny and how having Mac come out of the closet was... You made it sound like retroactively it fit the puzzle.
Yeah.
Like it feels to me like that was the plan all along. Was that not the plan?
No.
Are you bullshitting me?
No.
Because it retroactively worked perfectly.
Yeah,
with the
I know.
breadcrumbs.
That would assume that we had the thought and intellect to engineer something that we assumed was going to go like a good 14 years.
Honestly,
that was
crazy. That's
from the
what I
beginning.
thought.
I know.
That's always what I thought. Especially
Well,
even
you know what? I'm not. Then let's keep let's keep
it
that
alive.
going.
Yeah.
It works with Dennis too, where it's kind of very clear now he's a sociopath.
Yes.
But then you go back and you watch the earlier episodes, and I thought your answer would be, they weren't breadcrumbs. We were being
just
very
doing
clear.
it.
Like
Yeah.
he was dressed up as not a clown, as a painter, chasing people through the streets trying to kill them. Like it wasn't a breadcrumb that he's a
Subtle.
sociopath. He's a sociopath.
Certainly with Dennis, early on, we realized, because Glenn is a Juilliard trained actor.
Yeah.
And I know he was in here at
Crazy.
one point. I don't know if that came up, but he is he's a classically trained actor. And like he has been debasing himself in basic cable comedy for the past 14 years. And again, like what I did from the very beginning was like, I'm going to find the funniest. Shut the f.
Really, Devlin? Come on.
That guy's back here coughing in here. Damn it. Lost my train of thought. No, very early on, I found people that were more talented than me and funnier than me. Charlie is the funniest guy on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And Danny, of course, is a legend. And my wife, who's not only the most beautiful woman on TV, she's also one of the funniest, if not the funniest. And Glenn, who's a classically trained actor. And that's what was so funny about him playing Dennis, was that he could make anything work because he was such a good actor. And so we were like, man, how far can we take this with him? To the point where he was, obviously a psychopath, and possibly murdering people, and we don't know if that is unbelievable.
Yes. Okay. So wait a minute.
I know.
Did you see it?
Yeah. No, I heard you guys talking.
It
about
was
it.
unbelievable.
Give it to
Look
me.
at this.
I'll
I thought
open
it was a
for you.
bit. Do you want Rob to open your beer?
I'll open your beer
Rob,
for you.
Daddy will
Come
open the
here.
beer for you.
Come
Okay.
here, sweetie.
I thought he was joking.
Well, how are you doing it?
Yeah,
I'm like, are you doing it wrong? I feel
just-
like he's grabbing the glass or
Yeah.
something.
It like cuts my hand. I can't do it.
I don't. There you go.
Wow.
Congratulations, man.
Well, now for
gonna drink Rob.
those of you who are just listening,
Cheers, man.
I know,
Thank you so
cheers.
much for
All right.
coming in.
For those of you who are just listening, I just watched a man who probably weighs 210, 220,
Yeah, 220, 225.
not be able to open up a twist-off bottle of beer.
It doesn't make sense. I have baby hands. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm so happy.
You do not have baby hands. You
No,
have-
They're like
the-
fat, like baby,
the
like they're soft,
inside.
like a
they're
baby.
like Irish potato farmers, but I never had to farm potatoes, so they're just really soft.
I got it. Yeah.
It was.
You would have been great in like the 1800s,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Just born way ahead of time. So you mentioned all these like wonderfully talented people you're with, and Caitlin had the Mick and AP Bio and Charlie. He did more work at the Super Bowl than fucking most actors do in a year, right?
Well, so I was with him the week before. We spent a lot of time together, obviously, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go do a Super Bowl commercial." And I'm like, what? And he's like, they asked me to do a Super Bowl commercial. I'm like, sure they did. Of course they did. And he's like, and I'm like, how many days of work? One, I don't know, two. I was like, all right. I was a Super Bowl commercial, so I'm expecting something. And I turn on the game, and I'm watching. I'm like, he's in like 4 different times.
Every break.
Every break,
single
they're
commercial
cutting
is
to
insane.
Charlie. And then I tweeted something sometime midway through the fourth quarter, something about Charlie having a bigger role in the game than the Chiefs' offense.
Yeah.
And I swear, as soon as I hit send,
Boom.
it was like I hit send and was like, all right, that was a good tweet. Like, all right. And then I'm watching this happen. I'm like, this is not aging well. This is not aging well. And of course, if you had been following Chiefs all season, certainly Patrick Mahomes' almost entire career, you're like, well, he's gonna figure something out.
But I want to come to your defense here. This is an issue near and dear to my heart. You didn't get old takes exposed. That's a big thing. People like to retweet like takes that end up being wrong. In that moment, you were correct. That was a right.
He gets hit a lot with that aged well, and he's like, it aged fine. In the moment, it was good. It was correct.
It didn't age. It lived in that time, and in that time, it was the correct tweet.
Yes.
It wasn't a prediction. You didn't say at the end of the game, Charlie will have bet in this more than the Chiefs offense. You said Charlie has bet in this more than the Chiefs offense. Rob, you were right.
And then I was
sensitive subject.
I was able to retroactively ameliorate it, not by going and deleting the tweet because I was right in the moment, but just changing the wording a little bit and saying that my boy Charlie's got more a bigger role in this game than the 49ers defense.
There you go.
There you go. But man, I was just so happy for Andy. I really was. He brought a lot. Andy Reid, obviously, he brought a lot of joy to the city of Philadelphia.
Anybody who was not, and let me ask you this, because I feel like if Eagles fans, if you guys didn't get your ring, what would you have felt? Would you have been happy? Would you have been salty? Would you have been jealous?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say. Sure, you'd be upset, but it's just hard to root against somebody who. It's like whenever I hear people talk about Donovan McNabb too, I'm like, look, Donovan McNabb brought a lot of joy to the city of Philadelphia, more than other quarterbacks or other players who are beloved. Randall Cunningham is like beloved, one of my favorite players, because that's when I was 10 years old. That's who I was watching, right? But Randall didn't get us to the Super Bowl. Randall didn't get us to 4 NFC championships, right? So yes, he didn't go all the way, but man, he got real close. So I think that's how I always felt about Andy.
So to go back to what I was saying, this is, I feel like, your first big project. When everybody else has kind of done their own thing, you feel like it's your time to break out of the sunny bubble a little bit with Mythic Quest Ravens Banquet.
This is good. This is good. When
I'm gonna call like
MQRB
or some shit.
But I really, when we were talking about the title, we were like, okay, so we have this other show, which has the most ridiculous and horrible title in the history of television, which has now become an asset for some reason.
Huge.
So how can we do that again? So we came up with another one that's absolutely ridiculous. And we
were doing it like Ow Now Brown Cow before, like Mythic Quest Ravens.
Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
We're hoping that people, and next season's going to be called something else, so it's going to be even more confusing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the show's about a video game company
is out?
Called Mythic Quest is actually the name of the show, but each year is going to be about a new update or expansion.
Cool.
So this year is about, it's basically, if you don't know anything about video games, and expansion is basically just the mode of play for that particular year. So it would be Ravens Banquet, which is so fuck as a name. For first season, next season it'll be Mythic Quest something else. Third season, then
are we signed on for
Yeah, we're in the middle of the second season.
Awesome.
And once we get to season 14, 15, I don't know what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Was this something you had planned for a while, or is this like Apple came to you like, we want you to make a show?
No, actually we were approached by Ubisoft, which is a gaming company, and they said we want to do something in the video game industry, and I was like, nah. I didn't care that much. And
are you a gamer?
I play games, but I wouldn't consider myself a gamer.
Right.
But they invited me up to their studio in Montreal, and I visited with them and got to meet a lot of the characters that worked up there. And I've told the story a few times, but it was really funny. So I walk in, again, having no interest in making a show about the gaming industry, and I see this guy. He's dressed head to toe in black, right? And he's got these rings and his long beard. And he's got a cane, but he's got to be 35 years old. And he's not limping or anything. And the cane is just an accoutrement, right? And he's just like walking, and I'm like, oh, hey, man. He's like, oh. And I'm like, so what do you do? He goes, I'm a creative director. And I was like, what's a creative director? And he sort of like looked out into the heavens, or the fucking fluorescent lights. And he goes, brother, I build worlds. I was like, hey, can you excuse me for 1 second? I went outside. I was like, beep, bop, 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 beep. Charlie, we're doing a show about these motherfuckers, so get on it. And then I spent the rest of the day hanging out with them, and then and meeting all these, it was actually a really cool, eye-opening experience.